Okay, so welcome back to the Nerdcast. My name is Dan Schessel, and on today's Nerdcast we have none other than Chelsea. Chelsea, say hello.
Hi, guys.
And on today's Nerdcast we also have, beside me,
Alex D. Mackie.
Our very special guest. Yay, Mackie!
Yes. We also have Pie. Oh, and that's
it's Pie Day.
It's Pie Day. There we go. Just for everyone's viewing pleasure, my wonderful wife, made us a nice, awesome-looking cherry pie.
Shout out to Trina Schessel, the nerdette, with the excellent pie-making skills.
Oh, she's amazing. She also, she makes awesome pies.
I agree. This is amazing.
I'm so sorry, Chelsea. Trina tried to mail it, but it said that it wouldn't take.
That's okay. I'll just watch you guys eat it from afar. Womp womp.
I'll show you that picture again here. Look. There you go. That's live, by the way.
Live pie.
That's live pie sitting right there. So, the reason why we brought Mackie today is because he's our mathematician.
Studying mathematician
Who just loves math. So,
yeah. Some people play video games. I read math books. And I love it.
And play video games.
I don't have time for video games. Too much math.
That's all right.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to you about all things pie and all things pie.
That's right. But first off, we like to start off every show by asking how everybody's week was. So Mackie, because you're our guest, how was your week?
My week was great. Slept in over the weekend. Studied math. I'm currently in school, so wrote a couple midterms, which could have gone better, could have gone worse. All in all, played some board games. Had some fun.
What kind of games?
Games like what were we playing? Super Motherlode.
Oh, nice.
Star Realms, Eldritch Horror, Dead of Winter, stuff like that.
Yeah. I love Dead of Winter.
Oh man,
it's so good. So good.
I kind of want a zombie apocalypse just to like have the realness of that game, and then when that actually happens, I really don't want that to happen anymore. But it's the best game ever.
Yeah, it's so great. We've played it multiple times, and we've never had the trader.
Really?
We're dying to have it one time.
The trick is you play by putting multiple trader cards in because you don't read the rules properly, and then there's like 7 traders and only 8 players.
Everyone's
a trader. So everyone's kind of it's.
That's how we do it.
Yeah. Oh man, we had the trader once, and if you got exiled, you were removed from the game, so no one wanted to exile anyone. Mm-hmm. So then the trader just stayed in and won the game because everyone was too afraid to exile him because they felt like they'd be mean if they did.
Well, he doesn't leave the game.
The one scenario he does.
Oh,
anyone
that's
who's
right.
exiled, there's one scenario, and that was the one we were playing. It was just brutal.
So, Chelsea, how was your week?
Good. My week was good. I started spring break this weekend. So the kids are on spring break, so I'm off for a couple of weeks. I broke my toe yesterday.
No.
At fight class. And so I have to tape it up for circus classes tomorrow. But other than that, circus classes, and then I'm coming home to Edmonton for a visit, and it's good stuff.
You also managed to do something on the weekend as well, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. I did. I was inducted into a really awesome group that you've got going. The Star Wars Edge of the Empire RPG that you are the GM for. You invited me to join the gang, and I had a lot of fun. So I believe that will become a every other weekly type event that I will have to add to my calendar. So yeah,
that is the plan. And as long as they don't kick me away from being the GM, we'll keep going.
I don't know. You've got a pretty sweet setup, and you can have us in. You have the technology to have us in via Google Hangouts and whatnot. I think you are the GM with the mostest. So
Just by default. Just because I have all the technology does not mean I should be the GM. But it's fun anyways. I like doing it. So it's all good. So anyways, for myself, Friday, we actually got to go play some board games as well. So we got to play, what games did we play? Some spy game. I can't remember now.
Is it Spyfall, the one with the cards, or
yeah, the Spyfall?
Where you're guessing what people?
The one word clues.
Maybe, I don't know.
I have it in the other room.
Yeah, no, it's. I don't know if I played that one yet.
So yeah. Anyways, I played that one, and a few other games. I can't remember what they were now. I usually write notes and stuff like that, and I forgot to do that this week because I've been slacking because I was really tired because my kids do not know how to sleep in during daylight savings time. It's sort of a thing with small children. They apparently ignore daylight savings and they wake up super early.
It's just laid out.
It's terrible.
Time to play.
Oh my goodness, I was so tired. Plus the night before we were playing Star Wars the RPG, so we were up really late that night. And I had to get up really early that morning. So, so much fun.
Totally worth it, though.
It was so good. It was so good.
Raiding a drug den, shooting up a drug dealer.
Sounds like fun.
Mackie should join our party.
There was one point where one of the guys that came in on our first mission, came sort of back to life and threw everybody off because they weren't expecting him.
Right.
They were kind of mad that he was still alive.
The guy who respawned and was regrowing his arm.
And then you guys blew off his arm again. The other one.
And then he got splatted by a bunch of rocks, right?
We don't know. He ran into the cave. That's where we last saw him.
But we asked you. We checked with you.
I said, I don't know. I don't know where he went.
He's probably got 5 arms by now.
Yeah. He's regrowing them. He's a lizard kind of guy.
It's like Hydra.
He's a Trandoshan. He can grow things back. He's a lizard.
Oh.
They can grow that.
Which makes me think he'll be back again.
Maybe. Nobody's seen his body. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, we have some news items. Chelsea, what's our news item for this week?
We do have some news items. We have a few fun things. So, of course, because Google hires awesome people who are just awesome, Google employee has developed the first DIY Android-powered prototype bathroom mirror. So, in your mirror, it's also a display, so you can see things like messages and the weather and check your emails as you're getting ready for the morning, brushing your teeth, doing whatever. You can have all of your stuff up on your bathroom mirror.
Yeah, this looks really cool. So interesting.
But the concept isn't necessarily new. I remember a couple of years ago, damn it, what company was it? There's a video. If you Google "a day in glass," there's a video that went around my Facebook feed a couple of years ago that was basically all of the ideas for advancements in glass. And a lot of it was weaving like electronic filaments into the glass to make them display enabled. So this is very similar, but the fact that he's actually done it.
It looks cool.
Yeah. And I believe because it's DIY, I believe somewhere he's got it posted, the supplies you need to build it if you want to try building it yourself.
This is, yeah, like it looks pretty awesome. I just like the idea of having waking up in the morning, having my shave, and actually seeing what the weather is going to be like in my mirror. It's a lot easier than my phone in the morning.
Don't get messed. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Getting zapped out.
Yeah. Should probably put it on a GFI just in case. All right. So, anyways, continuing on. What do we have next, there, Chelsea?
The next news item, again, technological advances. People's brains are just awesome. Individuals have invented in Switzerland, at a research institute in Switzerland, along with researchers from Italy, have been working on advancing bionic limbs to address the issue of feeling and sensation. So not only the practical issues of mobility and fine and gross motor activities, but actually sensations. And they have succeeded in creating a bionic fingertip that allows for sensation in the fingers, which is amazing.
Yeah, this is really cool. Like, there's a video that goes along with it, and it kind of shows you how the finger actually kind of molds into the different grooves and stuff like that on a board
to feel the different textures.
Yeah, really interesting. Like I could see some people having some really cool applications for stuff like this. I mean, you were just saying something about.
Yeah, there's a man who had an arm belt that he can actually control with his brain, and it's attached to him through his nervous system, I guess. But yeah, no, every day my mind's blown by medical science, and this is really, really cool.
Well, this is not the first time we've had stuff like this on our show. Like, we've had so many like cool advancements in like bionic technologies and like augmenting ourselves. We are going to become more and more cyborgs.
I'm down with that.
Make ourselves better.
I would be a robot like in a heartbeat.
Well, I mean, the amount of failure in a robot compared to a human body is, you can live a lot longer.
It's true. It's very true.
So yes, I'm all for it as well. Augment away.
We can rebuild him stronger, faster.
My fingers are perfectly fine. Cut them off.
And put on the bionic fingertips just because.
Yeah, that's it. Donate my body to science while I'm alive.
All right, you heard it here first. Live. Recorded for posterity.
All right. And our final
news item for this evening is actually really fun. I know we have a lot of watchers and viewers and listeners and members of our community who are big gamers. So it's been hinted at for years, but it has been finally officially announced. Microsoft is going to be releasing a new feature for Xbox One owners that will enable cross-network play. A platform that will enable Xbox One, PC players, and players on the PS4 to play together when they're playing the same game.
This is my favorite news item for the night. Like, this is blowing up like all over the place. I mean, like, this is huge news. Like, to be able to play across platform, and not only like cross platform, like PlayStation. Like, they're saying, yeah, we'll open it up to them if they allow it.
Well, this is, I mean, in the first sort of paragraph of the article, I believe it'll be like a pay-to-play platform, because Windows owns Xbox. The platform is already sort of intuitively crossing over for PC gamers playing on Windows 10.
Yeah.
But it will require Sony and any other sort of platforms to, and they put it in quotes here, participate in order for games to be played across platforms, which makes me, that sort of participate in quotations makes me think it'll be a pay-to-play platform, which, I mean, isn't unreasonable, but I guess we'll see what the fees end up being. But to be able to, you know, hop on and play Halo with somebody on a PC and somebody on a PS4 and, you know, whatever, that's really cool.
Wow, you wouldn't play Halo
Yes.
on PlayStation 4. But yes, no, it's cool. But the thing that gets me the most is that it's really what they're trying to do, and I can sort of see this. They're opening up the platform so that they're not locking themselves into one box anymore. I think they've already came out, like, I think about a week ago or something, that they were saying they were gonna sort of open up the platform more. So and we get phones that iterate like every year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yet our consoles only iterate every 5 to 10 years, whatever they were. Like, the console cycles are huge.
Yeah.
So my understanding of what Microsoft is almost trying to do is they're trying to open up the platform enough so that they can just upgrade the Xbox, so that they can play against people who are playing on Windows and different computer systems.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do coming, especially when E3 hits this year, because they'll have some great announcements, I'm sure, on some of the.
I haven't been following the video game stuff.
Oh man, this is like I try to keep up as much as I can, but it's so hard nowadays. There's so much going on. I can barely keep up with the show. So much is happening here. I could barely keep up with it. That's why I have Trina,
Our producer extraordinaire.
Who made this wonderful pie. That's all gone now. I have nowhere else to put it except for right here. So you get to watch this empty, like, gross plate sitting in front of me still. Anyways, that's all the news we have for tonight.
Yes.
So now we get into the fun part, which is just talking to Mackie about
Yay!
pi, and pi as an actual
number.
number. And
Yeah.
some of the cool stuff that you know about it, and or you as well. Like,
yeah. So, like, I've been fascinated with math for a long time, and I recently been doing research. But my first, I guess, interaction with pi was in grade 10. Got really bored in math class one day, and just there was a page that had pi to 1,000 places. So I decided just to start memorizing pi and see how far I could go. And I think I got up to 252 places. And I still know it's a 50, but I was just sitting there and looking at pi and just being fascinated by this massively long number that never ended. Just, I remember looking at it thinking, like, I'm going to be the one who decodes it. I'm going to find the pattern. And then realizing now through my studies that they've already found patterns, or like the formula for pi, and
yeah,
it's been done. But
well, we were talking earlier about some of the people, or that, like, that one guy that he's a Chinese man.
There's some someone of Asian descent. I don't know if he's Chinese or Japanese, but he's in one of those one of the countries over out east, who's I don't know if they've actually verified it yet, but at the time, or the research I was doing, they were trying to verify that he knew it to 100,000 places, like, by memory.
That's
holy crap.
It was taking them years to just go through, or a long time just to go through, to make sure that he didn't make any mistakes. And I like math and numbers a lot, but not enough to memorize that, because to me it's almost unnecessary. My computer can do that, but it's really cool though.
Yeah, it's amazing how, like, there's some computers out there that can do quite a few numbers, but they can't do.
Actually, apparently that's how they figure out how good a computer is, by how many numbers it can calculate a pi, just based on the formula. The formula being, I guess it was discovered in like the 1700s. Pi over 4 is equal to 1 minus a third plus a fifth. So you alternate fractions, and then you just add and subtract, and it's an infinite series, and then you get pi. So you plug in that program into a computer, and based on how much it can calculate is how good the computer's processing is.
That's amazing. there's so much like just for like math. Like, I mean, this will probably be one of our like I would say nerdiest episodes. Like, we do this is the Nerdcast, but yeah, it's yeah.
I just like pie. I like something that's more than one thing. It's math and it's delicious. So,
and I mean, and this is pie rounded up this year, isn't it?
Oh yeah, because it's 31415, or sorry, 16.
Yes.
Because the next number being 9. Yeah, it's rounded up. So
I mean, we're going that nerdy right
now. Making everything fit.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So you go to math, like you
yeah,
you go to math.
I go to math. I do the math.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I'm taking math. I'm a math major, statistics minor right now. Well, I'm only second year, but just even in like the basic classes, like the amount of times you encounter that number. Like I've got my nerdy math shirt here, which says I'm bilingual, but there's equations on here that are chemistry equations and physics equations. I mean, if you go into Heisenberg's theory of uncertainty, which is basically figuring out how fast a particle is moving and its position, you need pi to calculate like the probability of it being in a certain location. I think it's, which one is it? Heisenberg's. It's on the shirt. Everything's on the shirt. It's this one right here, I think. Oh wait, that's a different one. Anyway,
you got to read it upside down.
Everything's upside down. E naught, so it's naughty, I guess. Upside down. But yeah, no, so you use it for that. And then when you're dealing with magnetic fields, pi comes into the equation there. You've got 2 pi on the top of those equations and 4 pi on the bottom. So it's just this idea of understanding how the circle works and being able to put into like particle physics and stuff like that and chemistry, which I guess start to meld there. We can start figuring out a lot more important things like magnets and supersymmetry, or going towards supersymmetry of finding like the positron and the electron, or positrons and electrons, which they've already found, but going even farther with that. So
pi is, you can use it in more things other than just finding a radius of a circle.
Actually, that's basically where it falls in. It is about the radius of the circle and like dealing with these smaller particles. It's knowing their movements, and a lot of it deals with how they move on waves. And basically the wave functions of sine and cosine, and they move on the principle of pi and 2 pi and quarter pi based on where they are in their segment. So knowing how fast something's moving, or how far something is away, or how big something is, or its orbit, you need pi to be able to figure that out.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So, Mackie, can you tell us more about the history of pi?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit about it.
When was it discovered? What was the mathematicians searching for when they came across pi?
Well, this goes back to a bunch of different cultures. You can go to, like, the Greeks were looking into it, the Egyptians and all this. And basically, it had to do with measuring things out. Because back in the day, the only way you can measure something was with a unit stick. So you have your measuring thing, but it's not broken into subdivisions. It's just a unit stick. And you have your compass where you can draw circles. So when you're dealing with wheels or moving stuff along, or trying to build, which actually gets into the square root of 2 and where that comes from, but trying to build things and using circles as patterns, knowing proportions of how you can actually make the perfect circle, or how far things are going to move, you need to know how long the circle is and how far it's going to travel on those rotations. So if you go back to I know Archimedes was looking into it about 250 BC is kind of what my research was telling me. And he was trying to pinpoint the accuracy of it. And so they were trying to figure out what this number was, or what this ratio was. Because ultimately pi is just the ratio between the diameter and the circumference of a circle. So the way they were trying to figure it out is they just took the circle and they drew an equilateral triangle inside of it. And they knew that the equilateral triangle is of units 1, so each side of the triangle is 1.
The same,
and they calculated, okay, it's a shorter distance to go this one than the arc around here. So they started putting more and more triangles in it, and they got a good idea of pi is just bigger than this number. I think the number was 223 over 71. So they also did it the other way, where they were trying to figure out what's the upper limit. So they did the same thing on the outside with triangles, which I got into 2 units or something like that. I started closing it in with triangles, and they got the lower limit of 223 over 70. So they were basically, they got it accurate enough. I think it was 3.1412 was kind of their estimation back then, somewhere around there. So they kind of knew it to about 5 places. And just with knowing this ratio and being able to build things is basically where the importance comes in. So with that being said, getting to know it to more and more significant digits became a test of like basically figuring out this number. And it's kind of gotten to that point where just knowing it more and more almost becomes futile. Because I was telling you earlier, I think you only need 38 digits of pi to accurately calculate the circumference of the observable universe within the size of a hydrogen atom. So anything past that, it's basically numbers for the sake of numbers.
Just superfluous.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love how we're just having this huge conversation about.
I could talk about math for hours. I love it.
This is great.
It's great.
So so in my work, I work with a lot of pipes.
Right.
And I work with covering all that pipe. I use pi pretty much every single day. It's one of those things where I have to find out the circumference of a tank, or there's so many different applications for it. So I mean, pi is one of those things where it's one of those numbers that you always need.
it's there. And the interesting thing is, like, everyone who is trying to figure out this ratio, everyone's kind of coming to the same conclusions. Even with the formula for pi, like pi over 4 equals this, it was kind of discovered by 3 different cultures around the same time. So I know you had Leibniz in the 1700s who discovered it kind of in the European area. And I think there was another person there as well. And I think there was somebody else in either China or Japan who's coming along these discoveries at the same time. So it's a very universal sort of concept behind it. And the fact that it goes down to atomic levels, there's something very important about this ratio, which is, I love it.
Patterns of the universe.
Yep. And
So,
great recipes.
Mackie,
Yes.
Yeah.
what is the most complicated formula that uses pi?
The most complicated formula that I know that uses pi, I think this might be one that I just learned the other day. It was dealing with physics and magnetism. What was it? It's force equals charge times length of the wire times magnetic field times sine theta over 2 pi r, which is the distance between the lengths of wires. But you can get a 4 pi in there when you only have your voltage as opposed to your charge, and then it gets into 4 pi. Oh, just trying to remember this. Yeah, I just learned this the other day, but I'd say right now the most complicated one I know is charge times length times magnetic field times sine theta over 2 pi times distance between 2 wires would be the most complicated one I know at this moment.
And that's to find...
That one's to find a force between 2 parallel wires caused by magnetism. Yeah.
Nice.
Also, if you put 3.14 in a mirror, it looks like pi.
It's got so many beautiful things about it. It's just like it was meant to be. Yeah, it's pi.
Yeah, no, it's like I think out of all my favorite numbers, I guess would be, or favorite math things, pi is one of those different things. And Trina, for some reason, has latched onto Pi Day and cherry pie for some reason, because she's made it for the last 3 years. Apparently, her time hop keeps saying that she makes cherry pie every year. We do like our Pi Day. We always have to have a pie.
You've got to do pie on Pi Day.
Yeah,
it's Pi Day.
Yeah.
So now then, here's the question: moving from numerical pie that is fascinating to pastry pie that is delicious. Let's talk a little bit about pastry pie.
Mhm.
What's your favorite filling, Mackie?
I'm torn. Like I like cream pies, like coconut cream and banana cream. I'd have to stick with the pecan though. Pecan pie. It's so sweet. It's so good.
I'm actually right there with you. on
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, this is one of my favorites by far. However, I'm more of a cake guy. Treat us like you're not wearing that shirt. Like, I am.
My theory though is the worst tasting pie is still one of the best things ever. Like I've never really had bad pie.
There is some good pie out there.
Yeah.
There's some really good pie out there.
Where is the restaurant, place, person you may know who makes pie? Where's the best piece of pie you've ever had? Where did you get it from?
Right now, in recent memory, right here, this is an amazing cherry pie. It's absolutely fantastic. I honestly don't know because I've had some good pecan pies in the past. I just can't really. It's been so long that I can't remember them. And all the pumpkin pies I have. Oh yeah, pumpkin pies up there. Yeah. It's always Safeway brand. I love it. It's great. But I haven't really had a homemade Safeway pie. Or sorry, pumpkin pie. I've had a homemade Safeway pie. You just take it out of the box, but I've never had homemade pumpkin pie. I don't think. But right now, I definitely stick with here. This is a really good cherry pie.
Well, I know for like, I don't usually get pie when I'm out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, usually have pie at home, or if, like you say, you get the Safeway pie or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't usually. Do you ever buy pie like when you're out, like at a restaurant?
As a dessert?
As a dessert. Like, I don't have dessert often, so I mean, I can't really say that I do or not.
It depends. I think the last time I bought pie as a dessert was one of the times I went down to the Gorge in the States for a concert, because Americans are all about pie for dessert. And I think we stopped in somewhere at a little like mom and pop restaurant, and that was kind of what was on the dessert menu was pie.
What's your favorite pie?
I am utterly divided between strawberry rhubarb and Saskatoon as my favorites. But those strawberry rhubarb, yeah. Although more rhubarb than strawberry. I am a big proponent of that amazing tart flavor. And then Saskatoon berry pie. But both of those favorites come from fond childhood memories of having grandmothers who made homemade pies.
My aunt used to make rhubarb pie all the time because she had a big patch of rhubarb in the backyard.
So good. So good.
Once you start growing rhubarb, you can't grow anything else. Just that's it. Man, this stuff goes like weeds.
It's
so good.
So good though. I love rhubarb.
There was one summer after the first time, I think I was like 7 or 8, after the first time I tasted my grandma's strawberry rhubarb pie, I got like obsessed with rhubarb to the point where I would like pick stalks of rhubarb out of her garden and just like eat them.
Oh yeah.
I remember always being told it was poisonous. I don't know if that was actually true or not, but we definitely didn't pick rhubarb and eat it. I think it might have been because of, I'm assuming that's a myth if you were eating rhubarb and you're still alive. But yeah, I was always told that it was poisonous.
Really?
Everyone was lying to me, like unless it was cooked.
Yeah.
I assumed that we were just told that so we wouldn't tear up our parents' rhubarb patches.
Why would you ever tell them?
I don't know.
That's awful.
I don't know. They just said if it's cooked, it's fine to eat.
Well, now I'm curious.
We had to wash it. We had to make sure that we washed it because my aunt had a dog.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it ever peed on there. Or, right. So we always had to make sure that it was.
Rhubarb leaves contain poisonous substances.
Oh, okay.
There, so don't eat the leaves.
Fair enough. Well, knowing me, I probably would. So. If part of it's edible, the whole thing's edible.
That's right.
Yeah.
Why is the leaves
No, but the stock is delicious. It's like this tart, fresh. It's like if celery had an interesting cousin.
Yeah,
What it is.
like an actual like taste,
Flavorful.
something that actually tasted good.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds
Like the
awful.
texture and the
It's
crunch,
just like
it is.
your
It's like
mouth.
chewing on a stalk of celery, except it's tart and zingy
I
and
never-
delicious.
The
And
flavor country.
I never understood the point of celery in the first place.
I like celery.
Do you?
Like,
I like the crunch. It's a texture thing for me. Celery is one of my favorite vegetables.
it's very
Man.
bland though.
Okay, the only way I ever had like celery was if I had peanut butter in it, maybe with some raisins on
I
top.
never liked peanut butter as a kid,
Really?
so for me it was the opposite. Like I would only eat celery if it was just celery
Oh,
or cheese whiz. I
or
guess
cheese whiz.
Yeah,
Cheese whiz
you
is
gotta-
okay. Yeah, but it just tastes like water. That's. I mean,
I
does
will
it
agree
really
with that.
taste like anything?
It's-
Delicious, crunchy goodness.
I gotta do rhubarb with peanut butter down the middle and raisins.
Yeah. Now I gotta try this.
Yeah.
No,
Now, are you guys pie purists? Is it only pie worth having if it's like homemade crust from scratch, homemade filling from scratch, or I know I just heard Mackie express his love of Safeway pumpkin pies, so I take it there is a place for not homemade in the canon of pie deliciousness.
For me, good pies or really good pies are homemade. I don't think I've ever really had an amazing like this is the pie store-bought pie. That being said, I mean store-bought pie is still pie. Pie's still awesome.
yeah, like the Safeway brand, like pumpkin pie is pretty good.
Yeah.
But like personally, I have an amazing cook here, like baker. So she makes some amazing stuff, like from cakes that you've seen the cakes that she makes
Yeah.
to the amazing pies that she can make. But we did have one time we had some cherry pie filling from Pottery Barn,
Okay.
and it was by far the best pie filling we've ever had ever. And Trina really wants to go get some more at some point, but it's like super expensive.
Yeah. It's Pottery Barn.
It's Pottery Barn. So she's been holding off on buying like the expensive. It was a gift,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So she saved it for a special occasion, made this amazing cherry pie, and then she's like, she can
Note to
never.
self: get Trina a jar of Pottery Barn cherry pie filling for her birthday.
You'll
this
look
year.
at it, and you'll be like, oh, really? That's a lot of money for a cherry pie. It's an expensive cherry pie, but it was so good. It was so good.
But your taste buds say it's worth it.
Yes. Trina's like every time she goes there, she's like, oh,
Now,
cherry-
in my estimation, we
you just
can't
get past the
be
price.
an Edmonton-based show on Pie Day in Edmonton talking about pie and not mention an Edmonton institution when it comes to pies. Have you gentlemen ever been to Vi's for pies?
I've never been there, but I've heard amazing things.
Oh, Alex D. Mackey, if you're on the hunt for some good pies, that's a place you need to go.
My bus on the way to school goes by it every day. I might just have to stop because I've heard fantastic things about Vi's for pies.
Yeah, I've heard lots of good things. Once again, I don't know.
You and Trina need to go there on a date night. Do it.
I'll make sure that we. Trina's the one that is really into pie. She just loves it. She loves it. She's the pie. I'm the cake guy. She's the pie. We both have matching shirts. Hers says pie on it.
So
but yeah.
then I have a question that might be better left for her. It goes down to the purist aspect of pie, because I know when does she make her own pastry? Does she make her own pie crust
yeah,
when
she
she
makes it
makes the
all.
pie?
Yeah.
So my question would be, when you get right down to the nitty gritty, there are pie purists who will debate over whether you use butter, or whether you use Crisco shortening, or whether you use animal shortening, like lard. who will have debates all day long over what makes the better pie crust.
I can't tell you what she uses, but whatever it is, it's amazing. What makes it?
I don't know.
I don't
my
like.
mom's
I think she uses Crisco.
Vegetable shortening? Yeah.
Vegetable sort.
my mom's definitely gotten into like her hobby now is cooking, and she's watching all the shows. And my dad's getting the kitchen remodeled for her, so she's got more kitchen. Like,
Ooh.
so I gotta ask her this of what her ideal pie crust is. And if she doesn't know, I'm sure she'll make me several different pies and ask me which one I prefer, based on whether it's butter or shortening.
Sounds like you've got it rough, Mackie.
It's a really hard life of sampling macaroons or madeleines or pies. I might just have to pitch that, Sarah.
I'd like to ask the audience out there what their favorite pie is. So if you guys are in the chat there, let us know what your guys' favorite pies are. And
and if we have any bakers,
yes,
weigh in on the purity of the crust, butter, or vegetable shortening, or lard. I'm a fan of butter. I think butter makes everything taste better. I feel like vegetable shortening, you don't get this quite the same flavor in the crust as you do with butter, and I feel like animal shortening, lard, can sometimes just make the crust too greasy. I mean, if you go overboard with the butter, then the crust gets greasy too, but I'm a butter girl at heart. I haven't made pie crust in a really long time, but butter's the way I
go. So we got one from Marcus. He says, was it a torte?
Tortilla.
Torte? Tortilla?
Tortilla.
That's a meat pie, though. And I said that it counts.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pie. And
and then there's
he uses butter, warmed butter, in his pies.
Mm-hmm. Well, if we're getting into the realm of tortilla, then I'm gonna toss quiche out there because scrambled egg pies are amazing.
They are. Oh, they're so good.
Eggs in general. I can eat them for every meal.
Because you can put anything in a quiche, really, if you're looking for savory goodness. Vegetables, meats, cheese. Oh dear God, the cheese.
What is okay? So, Aaron has commented in here, and he says sugar pie, a French Canadian creation that's like maple syrup poured into a pie crust. That sounds amazing.
That sounds like diabetes, and I want some. I want that right now. Oh man. Because I was on the tortilla, I was thinking of shepherd's pie, which really isn't a pie at all. It's just mashed potatoes, but I really didn't realize how many different styles of pie there are. You got your sweets, you got your meats, you got your sugar pie, which I now have to have.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds amazing.
I know, Trina, like there's a bakery in Calgary that whenever we go down there, we like to stop and get sugar bread. So it's like sugar cubes baked into the bread. It is so good. So good.
Wow, I'm looking up.
Toast it and it's like amazing.
I'm looking at sugar pie right now, and it looks so good. The maple syrup looks like it's thickened, so it looks like it's about the consistency of like pumpkin pie filling, except maple syrup.
That's incredible.
I might have a heart attack tonight. I'm going to find this or make it. Or
thank you, Aaron, for posting that. We're now on a mission to make or find it so we can put it in our face holes.
Trina's been on a mission for the last I think about a year now. She wants to desperately find a chance to make pie cakin. That is her.
Oh, okay,
that is her goal.
Like a turducken, except for desserts.
Yeah, she wants to make that pie cakin like so bad.
Now, would the cake be in the pie, or would the pie
the pie's inside the cake?
The pie's inside the cake.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm just trying to visualize like my idea of what a pie cakin would be, and then actually.
So I think it's like a layer thing, right? So there's a layer of cake, and then like a pie, and then another layer of cake, and then the whole thing is iced. Yeah.
It's baked into the cake. like you make the pie, and then you
Yeah.
bake the cake inside the pie, or bake the cake outside.
The pie inside the cake.
Yeah, whatever.
Layer of batter, put the baked pie in it, another layer of batter over top so it covers the pie, and then you bake the whole
So
thing.
this is an actual thing.
This is an actual thing. That's her like goal in life, is to make this pie cake. And she needs a place to make it, but every time we go anywhere, everyone's just like, oh, I just wanted a little piece of, like, you know, just wanted a sliver. So she's like, what's the point of me making this amazing like creation if nobody's gonna eat it?
I'm in for that.
I think I'm gonna have to get her to do it. We'll have to come up with a reason for it. She
I'm
wants to make
looking
it
at
today.
pictures right now. Yep, a pie baked into a cake.
Baked right in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Because yeah, my mind just went to like mad scientist mode of like having like an ice cream cake with a pie inside of that. So then you've got your ice cream with your pie.
That's so good. Yeah.
It's cake at the same time.
This is brilliant. Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna try that too.
with sugar
You
pie.
need to go home and trademark that immediately, Mackie.
you can't have pie without ice cream, so you might as well bake
Yeah.
the pie. You might as well put the pie right inside the ice cream. It's like a frozen pie.
Oh,
Oh man, it's gonna be so
with
good.
the sugar pie, ice cream cake
Oh.
around it. Oh,
That's gonna be good.
next time you see me, I will be 400 pounds.
Food science genius, Alex D. Mackie. You heard it here on the Northern Nerdcast.
This is I'm so hungry right now. I just had this amazing
You have a whole
pie.
half a pie sitting
know.
there still.
I'm very tempted to like just, because like I said, that's real pie right there. I am going to probably have some more of that eventually.
Do it.
Not right now, because I need some more ice cream.
Yeah.
And my producer is not anywhere around to get me more ice cream. So, yes. Anyways, we got some more stuff. We got more time. What else should we talk about?
Well, let's go back and talk a little bit more about fascinating numerical pi.
Sure.
Yeah. So I know I asked you what's the hardest formula that you know with pi in it. What's your favorite formula that you know with pi in it? What's your favorite thing to solve with pi?
There's a toss-up right now because there's one formula that I've just recently learned. I don't exactly know what it pertains to, but it's Euler's formula, which is e to the power of I pi plus 1 equals 0. And apparently it's a formula that has basically every style of number within the complex numbers in it. You've got your imaginary numbers, you've got your irrational numbers, transcendentals, you've got the 0, which oddly enough wasn't considered a number until about the year 1000 or 800, somewhere around there. And then you've got whole numbers like 1. So that's one of those formulas I really want to start to understand what it's used for and what it does. As far as my favorite formula with pi, I'm really starting to enjoy trigonometry. I guess it's not necessarily formulas with pi, but you use pi a lot when you're solving equations. So right now I'm doing calculus and we're dealing with inverse functions of inverse trig functions, so arc tan and sine, arc sine. So basically on your calculator, the sign with the -1 at top, that's what that means. And just figuring out like how you can put these into the equations. I guess it's not that complicated. It's just basically figuring out values that have pi in the as your end result. But I'm really starting to enjoy trig and realizing it's a little more complicated than SOHCAHTOA. But at the same time, it's as simple as SOHCAHTOA. There's just so much to it. I guess looking at my shirt, my favorite pi formula on here that I know. Oh, there's Heisenberg. Right up there. I don't know. You got to go with your classics like pi r squared or round. But just what that turns into and taking derivatives of that or integrals of that, and like you've got your area of the circle. And if you take the integral of that, you get 4/3 pi r cubed, which gives you your area of a sphere. Or I guess you have to add that into something else. But when you start dealing with volumes in calculus, but it's such a fun number.
So you were saying that you used to know up to 250.
252, somewhere around there.
So how many do you know now?
I think it's 52, 50 for sure.
All right, now I want to quickly rattle off the numbers.
For sure.
Yeah.
3.14159263846263827950284699337510528520 or is it 520528? One or the other. It's on my shirt. Oh, it's 510-5105-28520. But yeah, I used to go on. And the interesting part is there are sort of patterns that do come. Like when I was memorizing it, I would always memorize in triplets. And I remember like seeing like, here's a section of 6s and here's a section of 7s. So there are periods when certain numbers start to appear more than others. Mind you, I was watching a video. It's on a YouTube channel where the guy was talking about how it's basically every individual digit of pi is basically a random number. It's as random as you can get. But there is some sort of form to it. Like you start seeing, like I noticed, like at the end here, when you start getting to the 50th place, you start seeing the number 5 appearing a lot in the triplets. And then later on, you start seeing 6 appearing a lot in triplets. And then you start seeing 7. And it's, for me, it's interesting how that starts to happen. It almost goes into the chaos theory of finding order within chaos. And it's not that there's actually necessarily order there, but there is at the same point. This is why I love math. It's just, there's so much about it. It's so intricate. And the more we learn, I guess the less we know in a sense, because we start solving some problems, but that just opens up Pandora's box. And then there's so many other things that you start looking for at that point.
Yeah, I think I just go to like probably about 4 digits or 5 digits.
And that's really all you need.
That's more than enough for a 30-inch line.
Yeah, no. I've never actually used that many digits in a math formula, and I don't think I'd want to, because then I'd have to calculate that. My calculator won't do that.
You have to keep doing that over and over and over.
And it'll round off to 10 digits, so then you got to do all the math by hand, and it's just a pain.
Just hit the button and just let it go.
Go. Calculator, do your job.
That's right. All right.
I think one of my favorite things, listening to Mackie mention the oldie but the goodie pi r squared. You can't find the circumference of pi without pi. You can't find out how big your pi is without pi.
It's true.
It's true. It's very true.
We could measure that right now, if I had a tape measure.
Actually, random little tidbit. The name for pi, where it came from, it wasn't actually called pi until I think it was at least the 1500s. I think it was close to the 1700s. And the reason it started being called pi is because it was used to calculate the circumference or the periphery of the circle. So I guess with a lot of the research that they were doing at the time, because they were looking for the periphery, the letter P was coming up. So they just decided to call it pi, the Greek letter for P. And that's where it comes from.
Nice.
So many amazing facts about this one little number.
This one number. And basically, its main purpose now is to figure out, or for computers to calculate the computing strength. You plug in the program and how many ever digits it can spew out. That's how good your computer is. And I think they know it to like 10 trillion places now.
I was just going to say, do you happen to know what how many places the best computer knows it to?
It's in the trillions. There's some computers that I think can calculate pi to 10 trillion places accurately. And it's just about putting in the formula of you have your one minus a third plus a fifth, and just it's alternating for every odd number, plus and minus, and however far the computer can calculate that sequence that you program into it is how good your computer is. I guess like a household computer can do it to like millions, billions, probably even trillions of places now. It's just how good these computers
the processors are.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I think that's just about time. So before we go, can we find you anywhere on the web? Like, do you have a Twitter?
I actually I'm only really on Facebook. I haven't learned the whole tweeting thing yet. Once I leave like my parents' basement and start actually not being in school, I guess through you guys would be the best way to find me.
And are you going to be at lightsaber training?
I will definitely be there at least a few times. Hopefully, I will be there consistently this year. Now that I'm studying math more full time.
Yeah, because math and lightsabers go together.
Exactly. Speed of light.
I mean, that's essentially how we met Mackie in the first place. Was him lightsaber training and his amazing Rubik's cube that he would bring out every so often.
Yeah.
And just
I don't have
blindfold.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
No, it's man of nerdy talents.
It's awesome.
Except when you get angry and try and smash me in the face with a Rubik's Cube.
We agreed upon that.
Yes, we did. We did a fight together last summer at Nationals that involved Mackie trying to smash me in the face with a Rubik's Cube, but I was cunning and ducked out of the way, and he smashed it against a door and it crumbled into a bunch of pieces. That's because Mackie has a Rubik's Cube that is designed to come apart like that.
That is amazing.
We also had the one that broke your finger too, but that was a fun day.
That was a fun day.
All right.
Now, what about us? What do we have coming up? What are some fun things on the calendar? Where can people find us on the web and find out about these fun things coming up, Dan?
Okay, so you guys can go to northernnerdnetwork.com and you guys can find out all our events that we have on there. But we do have one that's coming up next month on April 9th. That is GolfFest. And we were talking a little bit earlier about board games.
Mm-hmm.
There's an actual board game convention.
So
yeah, that you can go and play some board games. For
the more you know, Mackie. The more you know.
So yes, that is happening on April 9th. Yeah, so go check that out. And we will have some people from GolfFest coming on our show coming in the later weeks here. But next week on March 21st, we have Press Start to Join, which is another local podcast that's in town here. And they're going to come and join us on our next week's episode, which is going to be awesome. So come back and check us out.
Really awesome. Next week, I'm going to be sitting where Mackie's sitting.
That's right.
Doing a Nerdcast with Dan in person. What?
This is we haven't even I don't think we've ever had this happen before where you've been in the same room as me. So
even when I was in Edmonton, we always sort of logged on and did it separately. Yeah. But I'm coming for a visit, so
yeah, we're doing it official like. All right, so yes, so that you can look forward to that next week on the Nerdcast, and like I said, you guys can find us all over the web. We're on YouTube, obviously. We're youtube.com/Northern Nerd Network, on Facebook at facebook.com/Northern Nerd, and on Twitter at Northern_Nerd.
Thank you so much, Mackie, for coming to talk to us about pie and pie.
Anytime. It was a pleasure.
And thank you so much to all of our wonderful listeners and viewers who follow along with us, Marcus and Aaron, for your lovely comments about pie. Yeah, we love it when people comment and join in, so thank you so much.
And it's so much more fun watching live. So, yes, if you ever get a chance, 8 o'clock Monday night, every week. I mean, it's really easy. Come to the YouTube channel. We tweet it out every week, so... Yes, that is it. That is all. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening to this episode of the Nerdcast. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.